Let us continue with the chapter. In the previous video, we ended up by saying that Smita has understood that Pandit Ravi Shankar is going to perform at the Shamukhnanda Auditorium in Mumbai. And for that, she wants even Anand to accompany her. But seeing Anand's poor health, since he is suffering from cancer, mother doesn't agree to it. And that is the sad part of it. But Anand feels it's a lifetime chance. Probably he may not be alive to hear Pandit Ravi Shankar again. So let's see what happens at the end of the chapter. Whether Anand is able to hear and see Pandit Ravi Shankar. Let's see it. When you are better, his mother said. This is not the last time they are going to play. Smita stood at the window looking at the traffic. Her eyes wet with tears. Her mother whispered, But you, Smita, you must go. Your father will take you. When she was alone with Aunt Sushila, Smita cried out in a choked voice. No, how can I? We've always done things together, Anant and I. A walk in the park might make you feel better, said Aunt Sushila. And Smita was grateful for her suggestion. So, mother told Smita that although Anand couldn't come and watch the performance of Pandit Ravi Shankar, Smita could go along with her father. But Smita was not happy with it. She was very upset and she told Aunt Sushila in a choked voice, about to cry very bitterly. Why was she crying? Because she told Aunt Sushila always Anand and she had done all things together as loving brother and sister. And now, when the greatest man was going to perform, Anant is not able to come and see it, and therefore she's upset. However, Aunt tells her to be calm and takes her out in the park so that she's all right. Mark the grammar here. Third paragraph. When she was alone with Aunt Sushila, Smita cried out in a choked voice. Identify the clauses and state its kind. So your answer is Smita cried out in a choked voice, main clause. When she was alone with Aunt Sushila, subordinate adverb clause of time, because you have the WH questioning word when, and when signifies adverb of time. Next paragraph, you have the word grateful. Noun form will be gratitude, Gratitude, and grateful is an adjective. Okay, let's continue. In the park, people were walking, running, playing ball, doing yoga exercise, feeding the ducks, and eating. Roasted gram and peanuts. Smita felt alone in their midst. She was lost in her thoughts. Suddenly, a daring thought came to her and she hurried home. She said to herself, Why not? There's no harm in trying it. It would be nice to go to the concert. I don't know when we'll get another opportunity to hear Pandit Ravi Shankar, she said to her mother later. And her father agreed to get the tickets. So, as she was moving around in the park and eating roasted gram and peanuts, she suddenly had a plan in her mind. And she did not disclose this plan to anybody. She went home and she told her mother that she would like to go along with her father to watch Pandit Ravi Shankar perform. So the father brought tickets. Now let's see what happens. The next day, as Smita and her father were leaving for the concert, her brother smiled and said, Enjoy yourself, though the words came out in painful gasps. Lucky you. Poor Anand. When he came to know, of course, he wished good luck for his sister, but at the same time, he was upset that he couldn't accompany her. Sitting beside her father in the gallery, Smita heard, as in a dream, the thundering welcome the audience gave the great master. Then the first notes came over the air, and Smita felt as if the gates of a land of enchantment and wonder were opening. Spellbound, absolutely mesmerized, spellbound, not paying attention to anything. She listened to the unfolding ragas, the slow plaintive notes, the beautiful music that was going on, the fast twinkling ones. But all the while, the plan she had decided on the evening before remained firmly in her mind. The chance of a lifetime. She heard Anand's voice in every beat of the tabla. So as Pandit Ravi Shankar was performing, she was absolutely enchanted. She felt she was in heaven listening to that music. But each time at the corner of her mind, that plan was going on or what she had decided, and that sentence which Anand had uttered, the chance of a lifetime. Okay. Mark class over here, your grammar. Second paragraph, you have the word thought. Verb will be think. Think. Thought is a noun. Think will be a verb. Next paragraph, you have the word know. Know. Noun form will be knowledge. Her father. Next paragraph, you have the last line. Her father agreed to get the tickets. Pick out the infinitive from that sentence. Answer is to get. To preposition plus the verb get. So to get is your infinitive and agreed is your finite verb. Next you have leave the next paragraph, come to the next after that. The audience gave the great master. I'm sorry, go on to that. The thundering, a welcome was given by the audience to the great master. Okay. Next, you have over there the sentence. She listened to the unfolding ragas. Change that into your past perfect tense. So, your answer will be she had listened to the unfolding ragas. Now, let's see what happens further in the chapter. The concert came to an end. The audience gave the artist a standing ovation. A large mustached, having a long moustache man made a long boring speech. Then came the presentation of bouquets. Then more applause, and the curtains came down. The people began to move towards the exit. Now was the time. Smita wriggled her way through the crowds towards the stage. Then she went up the steps that led to the wings, her heart beating loudly. In the wings, a small crowd had gathered to talk about the evening concert, to help carry bouquets and teacups and instruments. All right, so now she was going to put her plan into action. So there was this mustached man having a mustached, meaning one who having a large mustache. He gave a boring speech and then people clapped, applauded, and finally everybody was leaving. And that's when Smita took a chance to go backstage in the wings, meaning the side portion of the stage. And there her heart was beating badly because she saw two very great people in front of her. And she wondered how she's going to approach them and talk to them. But she mustered all courage and she went up to them to speak to them. Let's see what is she going to speak to them. He was standing there with the man who played the tabla for him, the great wizard of music, Ustad Allah Rakha. Her knees felt weak, her tongue dry, but she went up and standing before him, her hands folded, "Oh, sir," she burst. So she went there. There were two great people there in front of her. One was, of course, Pandit Ravi Shankar, the sitarist, and the other was the great tabla player, Ustad Allah Rakha. So her heart was pounding very fast because she was seeing two great people in front of her. And she went there, immediately folded her hands, and she was about to ask for a request. Alright, let's see what is going to be her request. Yes, he asked questioningly, but kindly. Her story came pouring out, the story of her brother who lay sick at home, and how he longed to hear him and the Ustad play. Will you come to Aunt Sushila's house and play for him? She begged at the end breathlessly. Please, she begged, please come. So, this was her plan. Her plan was to request both these great wizards, the great masters, the Tabla Vadak, Ustad Allah Rakha, and the sitarist Pandit Ravi Shankar to come to Aunt Sushila's house so that they could perform live for Anand. And she narrated the whole story of her brother. Little girl, said the mustached man who had made the long speech. Panditji is a busy man. You must not bother him with such requests. But Pandit Ravi Shankar smiled and motioned him to be quiet. He turned to Ustad Sahib and said, What shall we do, Ustad Sahib? The Ustad moved the wad of pan from one cheek to another. Tomorrow morning we perform for the boy. Yes, he said. Yes, Panditji replied. It's settled then. How nice. Such great men, busy in their own ways, but the moment they heard Smita's story, they felt there was a real great admirer in the form of Anant. Sometimes a great audience may admire you, but these are the little happiness that these great people get is through the real admirers, and Anant was their true admirer. So no matter how busy they were, they decided that the next morning they would be at Aunt Sushila's house to perform live for Anant. What a great dream come true. It was a very excited Smita who came home late that night. Anant was awake, breathing the oxygen from the cylinder. Did you hear him? He whispered. I did, she replied. And I spoke to him. And he'll come tomorrow morning with a tabla ustad and they'll play for you. She's made her brother happy. She has brought that sentence, once in a lifetime chance, true. She was going to fulfill her brother's last wishes. And the following morning, Aunt Sushila's neighbors saw two men get out of a taxi which pulled up outside their block meaning building. They could not believe their eyes. It's not possible, they said. Pandit Ravi Shankar and Ustad Allah Rakha went up the wooden staircase and knocked softly on the door of Aunt Sushila's apartment. They went in, sat down on the divan by the window, and played for the boy, surrounding him with a great and beautiful happiness as life went out of him gently, very gently. So both these great maestros, they kept up their promise. Next morning they were there and they performed live for Anand. And that was the time Anand peacefully passed away from this life, listening to the great musicians whom he always wanted to. The end is sad, class, but the same time happy. Sad because Anand has passed away. Happy because he got it what he wanted. His dream came true. What else does one require in life, isn't it? The family lost their son, their brother, but at the same time they were happy that they were able to fulfill his last wishes. This is the two great musicians performing together, Pandit Ravi Shankar and Ustad Allah Rakha. Let's mark the grammar class of the rest of the paragraphs that we've done. Come to the place where you have Pandit Ravi Shankar smiled and motioned him to be quiet. The fourth paragraph. Rewrite the sentence using a participle. So your answer will be smiling. Ravi Shankar motioned him to be quiet. So smiled, you add an ing and turn it into a participle. So smiling, Pandit Ravi Shankar motioned him to be quiet. This is also a simple sentence because you just have one finite verb. Okay. Come a little lower down. You have there, they could not believe their eyes. Second last paragraph, second last line. They could not believe their eyes. Rewrite in the affirmative form. So your answer will be, they failed to believe their eyes. So with this class, we end this chapter. A beautiful chapter which gives us a message that small things in life can bring great happiness. So, with this note, I end this chapter. Have a great day. God bless you.